Next week in Emmerdale, the village is heading straight into one of its most explosive storylines in years. A single moment of rage, one flash of anger behind the wheel, and everything changes forever. Jimmy King is left fighting for his life after being hit by a car, and the person behind that car is the last man anyone expected, Joe Tate. But the question everyone's asking is, was it truly an accident, or did Joe finally cross the line? The drama begins when tensions between the Tates and the Kings reach breaking point. The feud has been brewing for weeks, ever since the scandal involving Carl and Clemmy sent shockwaves through the community. Dawn Fletcher has been doing everything in her power to make sure justice is served after Carl shared an indecent image of young Clemmy, the little girl she's loved and raised like her own daughter. But when the police announce that no further action will be taken, it's like a punch to the gut. Dawn feels helpless. She blames herself for not protecting Clemmy and for letting the situation spiral out of control. Joe Tate, seeing the woman he loves completely broken, feels that same fury rising inside him. To him, this isn't just about a mistake, it's about justice being denied. He believes the Kings are getting away with something unforgivable, and Joe's not the type to sit back and watch that happen. He's always been a man who believes in power, control, and getting even. But this time, it's personal. His anger builds throughout the day, quiet at first, then boiling beneath the surface. He tries to shake it off, but every time he sees Dawn's face or hears Clemmy's name, that rage comes roaring back. The line between right and wrong starts to blur. Later, as Joe drives out of the village, the weight of everything he's feeling crashes down on him. His grip tightens on the steering wheel, his thoughts running wild. He's furious, distracted, barely even aware of how fast he's going. He's thinking about how unfair everything is, how the Kings always seem to come out on top while everyone else pays the price. But in the blink of an eye, that anger leads to disaster. There's a split-second flash movement on the road, and then the horrifying sound of impact. The car jolts. Joe slams on the brakes, his heart thundering in his chest. For a moment, everything goes silent. Then he gets out, trembling, his breath short and uneven. Lying in front of his car, motionless, is Jimmy King, the man he's hated for months, and now, the man he might have just killed. Panic sets in instantly. Joe looks around, his mind racing. He could drive off, no one would know, right? But before he can make that decision, he spots someone watching from a distance. Caleb Milligan, a witness. Joe freezes. There's no escape now. He rushes to his phone, calling 999 with shaking hands, trying to sound calm but failing miserably. His voice cracks as he explains what happened. It was an accident, he insists, though even he's not sure if he believes that. Jimmy lies there, battered and unconscious, as sirens begin to echo in the distance. The reality hits hard, there's no undoing this. When the ambulance arrives, Joe is still standing there, pale and silent, replaying the moment again and again. Caleb watches him closely, suspicious from the start. To Caleb, it doesn't look like an accident. It looks like something darker, maybe even revenge. And as the paramedics rush Jimmy to the hospital, the whispers begin. Back at the village, word spreads like wildfire. Jimmy King has been hit by Joe Tate's car. Nicola drops everything and races to the hospital, her mind spinning. When she arrives, she sees the police talking to Joe, and her emotions turn from fear to fury. In her eyes, it's obvious what happened. Joe wanted payback. This wasn't bad luck, it was a message. Joe tries to defend himself. He tells the officers it all happened too fast, that he didn't see Jimmy until it was too late. But Nicola's having none of it. She's never trusted the Tates, and now she's convinced Joe finally acted on his anger. She lashes out, claiming he did it on purpose, that this was revenge for everything that happened with Clemmy. Meanwhile, Dawn is caught in a nightmare. She knows Joe's temper, but she also knows he'd never intentionally hurt someone, or at least she hopes he wouldn't. Still, with Nicola spreading the story that Joe deliberately ran Jimmy down, Dawn's world starts to crumble. The guilt eats away at her. If she hadn't pushed so hard for justice, would this have even happened? As Jimmy remains unconscious, the tension in the hospital corridors is unbearable. Nicola refuses to leave his side, while the Tates are left trying to manage the fallout. Caleb's version of events only fuels the fire. He tells anyone who'll listen that Joe looked panicked, yes, but also guilty, and that one word, guilty, spreads through the village like wildfire. Now, Emmerdale is divided. Some say it was a terrible accident. Others are certain Joe meant to do it. Even the police seem uncertain. The evidence doesn't point clearly in either direction, leaving everyone guessing. As the days go by, Jimmy's condition remains critical. Nicola clings to hope, but her anger towards Joe hardens into something dangerous. She vows to make him pay, no matter what it takes. And Joe, tormented by guilt and fear, starts to question everything. Was he just in the wrong place at the wrong time, or did his emotions really drive him to something he can't take back? Dawn tries to reach him, pleading with him to stay calm, but Joe's breaking apart. The pressure, the guilt, the accusations, it's too much. Every time he sees Nicola's face or hears Caleb's version of events, he feels the walls closing in. The village has seen plenty of feuds before, but this one feels different. This one has blood on its hands. And if Jimmy doesn't pull through, there's no telling how far Nicola will go for revenge or how much destruction the Tates will face because of one tragic, irreversible mistake. So now the question is, can Joe Tate prove he's innocent before it's too late? Or has the line between revenge and accident already been crossed? One thing's for sure, the fallout from this will tear Emmerdale apart. And when the truth finally comes out, no one will be left unscathed.